Good morning. It's about 7:20. It's an overcast morning here on the Nimpkish River. Clouds look thin, so that's good. I have a decision to make once I get packed up. Do I want to continue running these boulder gardens for about 5 more kilometers to Woss? Or do I want to cross the river right here and take the road? The road is right there. You can almost see it through the trees. This is kind of the last opportunity to bail out of the river before Woss without major difficulties. I would like to stop in at Woss. Apparently there's a logging company office there that might have information about the roads that I will be traveling on a bit later in the trip. I'd like to find out if they know whether or not they're overgrown, so I can make some decisions about my route that way. And I know that there are some rapids between here and Woss that are unrunnable for me. It's not to say they're unrunnable for everyone, but I'm not gonna run them. So I'm thinking I might just walk into Woss and then continue paddling from there, because there should be more fun river stuff below. But looking at the satellite imagery, it's basically just boulder gardens for the whole way there from here. It's fun, but it takes a long time to get anywhere because I have to scout every corner, and I think in this case the safe thing to do is just to walk to Woss and then evaluate the river when I get there. Made another repair on my seat. It wasn't leaking badly, but it was just losing air slowly over time. So when it was in Gold River, I picked up some more thread and some needles that were easier to work with. And last night I re-sewed this edge farther than I had before and covered it with seam grip. Hopefully that'll stop that slow leak. It wasn't bad, but every half hour or so I'd need to put in a breath of air. And I think before I just hadn't sewed far enough when I mended it. This is the seat that was kind of a prototype made at the last minute before this trip, which was not a good idea. Also, for the same reason, I've also learned not to try out new designs of attachment points. If they don't work out the way you think they will, then they can cause problems. This is my seat back and my pillow, and I've covered these with seam grip because when they were attached to the boat, it was pulling, and the way that I made them didn't allow for forces in this direction, only in that direction. So the TPU started to peel away from the fabric, and I saw that it was doing that quite a while ago, but just yesterday it started to leak. So I painted these with seam grip, and hopefully that'll take care of that. I'll just have to be really careful. Unfortunately, I got sand on the seam grip, so I'm gonna have to pick that out. I don't want it to be like sandpaper against the boat. That's where I camped last night. So I just did a little easy ferry across the river, and now I'm gonna deflate the raft, climb up to the road, and head into town. Should take about an hour to walk there. So I just scrambled up to this bridge, up this dry creek bed, mostly dry. It was pretty steep and loose, It's almost right across from where I camped last night. I heard a bunch of rock fall in the middle of the night. It woke me up. So I wonder if that was from here. Anyway, I'm gonna walk this road into town. It's about 4 kilometers or so. The bridge to Woss. Well, I just walked through Woss. Because of the pandemic, the office I was aiming for was closed to the public. So now I am just walking back to the river. I took the old railway grade to the highway, and then the highway just for a few hundred meters. I'll be walking here and then I'll be back on the river. Back at the river. Looks pretty nice. Hello! Here on the Nimpkish River, a little wet. It's pretty good going when I'm actually paddling, but the river is kind of braided here. I get to sections like this and it's too shallow to get through unless you're right in the main flow, and it's hard to tell which is the main flow from above. I'm still making decent progress, but I stopped to put my good camera deep in my pack in a double waterproof bag system and sort of streamline things a little bit. It's a bit slow when I have to take my pack off and carry it and walk through the shallows. So we'll see how much river paddling I do today. I'm going to get to a section with a bunch of bedrock drops and narrows and channels, and I think when I get there I'll probably bail out because it's not safe to be doing that kind of stuff alone, and portaging them all will be very slow. Well, when it's nice, it's really nice. The river's flowing pretty strong, but the wind, the headwind, is really blowing in places. Nimpkish Lake is known as a windsurfing lake, so I shouldn't be surprised. But it's blowing upstream, so it's slowing me down a little bit. But the current is strong enough to overpower it in most places. And I'm paddling as well. There are lots of fun little riffles and some more exciting ones that I have to really be on my toes about. But so far, so good. Well, I'm off the river now. I've decided to walk the rest of the way. It's about 8 kilometers to my food cache. It's difficult to see from here, but below here the river gets more canyony, constricted, and I don't know how easy it would be to portage around the obstacles. And once again, I'll reiterate, being alone on a trip like this is not the time to be playing around with stuff that's at the limit or beyond of my skill. So I'm not gonna even try that. I've pulled out at this, it's like a little campsite, it seems someone has made. The road is nearby, that's why I've stopped here. People have left some cans and bottles, but aside from that, it seems like a pretty decent site. The river is gorgeous. I just love this river. It's so green and clear. And it's been a lot of fun paddling down, actually. I was nervous this morning because one of the first little riffles turned into a pretty good set of waves, and I got just soaked. And since then I'm just trying to get out of the wind so the wind noise isn't horrendous. Yeah, I just keep getting soaked, so I want to get off the river. That's another reason to stop. I want to get off the river in time for my clothes to dry out today. It's about 3 o'clock now. I've already made really good progress, probably 22 kilometers or something like that. 8 or so on the road will bring me to around 30, and then I'll be looking for a place to camp after that. But for now, I'm gonna get these wet clothes off. My shirt isn't too bad, but my my pants and underwear are just soaked from the splashes. I don't have a spray deck, obviously, on this Packraft, so anytime you hit a wave, other than dead on straight, there's water coming in. Well, I've had a lovely stay here at this little site on the river. Probably stayed a couple of hours. The sun is almost completely gone from this side of the river, so I'm gonna carry on. I don't know what the trail like is to the road. I checked out the first little bit and it's been cleared, so couldn't have picked a better spot to stop. And I'll probably get to my next food cache tonight. I don't want to get too close to the edge here because it's a vertical drop into this old iron mine. I just came across it along the side of the road. The road is right here, and if you take a wrong turn, you're gonna drop about 100 feet. Pretty interesting. I found a chunk of ore here. It's really dense. It's magnetite and pyrrhotite, mainly just massive sulfides. Watch what it does to the compass. Well, that was cool. I was just holding my camera, waiting for a gust of wind to move that tree up there, because it looked pretty cool in the sunlight. The wind never came, but a bear poked its head out on the side of the road, looked both ways, and then when it saw me, it ran across the road into the bushes right there. It's just a little guy. Oh, thought I just saw another one, but it was just a shadow. That was cool. Haven't seen a bear in a while, so it's nice to know they're out here. Well, it's 7:45. I've reached my food cache. It's in this pretty dark forest. I think I'll stay here tonight. I'm just looking around for danger trees. I already pushed over that one there with a long stick. Just carefully nudged it until it went over. That's the problem with these old forests. There's a ton of dead trees and you really have to look around carefully, especially when the wind is blowing like it is tonight. That would be a rude awakening, having a tree fall on your tent. It's beautiful in here though.